Hello Tadpales and welcome to a brand new video. Today is the LCB regular checkup. It's time for the sinners to see how well they are doing or how well they are not doing. And it is going to be interesting. Intervallo day. I am very curious to see how this one goes. I feel like this one is going to be a really funny one. I mean, at a doctor's checkup, it's going to be something special. So if you are excited for today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and definitely subscribe if you haven't already. And let's go. Data collection. I look from beyond the glass window as the sinners battle furiously inside the large indoor arena. You damned imbeciles! What's the point of everyone rushing at the same enemy that's already staggered and nearly dead? Faust had attacked the entity first. The blame lies flatly with the others' delayed decisions. Apologies, yet concerned was I that to not dispose swiftly of that foe would. I think this is a great show of teamwork. Yes. What is this, a simulation? I had no idea how hopeless the sinners were in battle without my command. Damn it! Why won't any of you listen to my orders? Your genius order was how the lass's head ended up dangling from the from 1/4 of a neck. It was a necessary sacrifice to gain an edge in battle. No! Are they talking about Don Quixote? Worry thee not, how befitting of a hero it is to perish in place of her compatriot. God! Don Quixote falls before the merciless onslaught of enemies. I had so many things I wanted to say to them, most of which were variations of, "You're doing it wrong!" But I had no choice but to watch as their woefully abysmal decisions continue to bungle the fight. Who the hell is that? If I tried, this researcher next to me will get in my way, claiming that they haven't finished collecting the data. This one's reaction speed to emergencies is exceptionally fast. So, can I help them now? Will you stop pacing and compose yourself? We are almost done here. That should be more than enough data. Take control, manager. I had a lot I wanted to say, but let's help the sinners out of this bind first. I mean, would they be able to understand our TikToking? Oh, baby, let's go. Wait, what in the world? We're using, the Leo Association. These are the burn units that I literally was just talking about. Let's go, listen to this music. So we gotta be in this simulation right now. This is amazing. Out of the gate. I mean, this is exactly what I was kind of thinking this was going to be like. Just a wild ride. Whoa! You better calm down with those clash rolls. No. There you go. Good job, Gregor. Good job, buddy. Are they attacking the same version of themselves? No. There we go. Ooh. I love Kurikomo Ishmael. I mean, for plenty of reasons, but she is such a great unit. Listen to this music. So Intervallo day, will I be able to actually complete this Intervallo? Who's hopeless? Not anymore, baby. Watch this. Boom. Favored 37. They better not do ego back. 74. Oh, there we go. Boom, baby. Thank you very much. Good night. Bye, Honglu. Shink. Ishmael's gonna be a goner as well. Here we go. Now we're cleaning it up. We're the cleanup crew. Assault. Goodbye. Yeah. Magic bullet bonus. Snipe. 114 damage. Oh, and that's why I kind of want to build a team around Magic Bullet Otis. She is so strong. Ay-ya! What in the hell is that? Picatulum. Okay. Okay. I don't like that. Negative 45, though. Can't be doing any more egos. Hey, what are you doing now? Fourth match, Flame. Scorched Girl. Oh my god. 90 damage. 152. Okay, yeah, I like that. Thank you. Thank you. You know, even the Pecatulum version of the Sinners are helping us out. Great teamwork, guys. Great teamwork. That went well. As expected of our executive manager, the exceptional development of your strategic genius reminds me of the earlier years of my career. Thanks. Whew. Got anything to snack on, guys? I'm starving here after that brawl. You will maintain an empty stomach for the duration of the tests. What? Next on the docket is... I would have asked Marisol for a massage if I knew this was coming. Whose idea was this anyway? Well, if you really want to get into it, we can trace this right back to your vacation request, Gregor. Not that this wouldn't have happened without that, but yeah. Oh, come on, fellas. There's got to be more to it than that. Oh, of course, Faust knows. Sure there was. Not that it would have made any difference. Because, like Ishmael said, this all began with Gregor's particularly egregious stretching. Oh, what is that? It sounds like ribs. Wow, that sound just now, I didn't know a human body could make a sound like that. Oh, he's stretching? He's doing some stretches. I was just doing some stretches. Can't seem to do them without making these noises nowadays. Huh? What do you mean you can't? That right there's the creaking sound of time's ravages. Since, oof. I know Dante's been turning the clock to rewind our time, but I feel my joints are starting to grate. I know what you mean. I definitely don't feel as spry as I used to. Maybe the pain from repeatedly dying and reviving takes a toll after all. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, how long have we been on the road for? Like from the beginning of Canto 1 to now, how much time has passed? Yeah, dying sure is a pain. That's when Hong Lu flippantly threw out an innocent comment amidst the complaining sinners. Speaking of which, isn't it funny how Don Quixote is totally fine even though she's hundreds of years old? She's got to be the oldest of us by a lot, right? Hong Lu's unprompted catapulting of such a heavy subject brought the busy air inside the bus to a sudden, stifling halt. I thought we were going to take some time to actually broach that subject, but you just bulldozed through the whole mess, huh? I must have made things awkward. I didn't realize everyone was so sensitive about their age. That's, 'tis not to concern thyself with. Be not so. Of course, there was also someone who could not care less about the bus's air quality. Oi, Scoot, that's my designated seat you're planting your ass in. I'll whack ya. On the other hand, here's a guy without a care in the world. Almost makes me wonder if he even remembers what just happened. Well, maybe this is your chance to get back at him for treating you harshly. Don Quixote, I'm sure you can... Sink, I've never seen your eyes sparkle like that before. I am quite fond of the current temperament of our company. Unless young Heathcliff here suddenly morphs into a villainous scoundrel, I have nary a wish to exact violence upon him. And... Right, now that that's over with, let's all shut up and keep the chin wag to a minimum. Yeah. Seems plenty villainous dickish to me. I like it though. Anyways, I'm not the only one thinking that it's about time we got the thing. The thing? Well, you know, the thing that we tried a while ago, but didn't get to enjoy due to some unforeseen issues. Deathmatch! Not that. Don't you remember? We even played volleyball by that big body of water. Contextual clues suggest that he is making a request for a vacation. Yep, absolutely yep. Let's all go to a spa or something. Relax, get a massage to loosen up our muscles some, please. You still have expectations for our employers? Aha! I recall that young Marisol had given thee quite the exquisite message, hath he not? I have an astute knowledge of the major muscle groups and nerve structures of the human body. For many weeks following that massage, my body was deprived of any sensory stimulation. Look at his face. Could you imagine a massage from Marisol? Thus understood it was the philosophy of Marisol's physical therapy that the most infallible methodology of convalescence from pain is to remove any and all stimulation, including that of pain. Yeah, I'm gonna make your body go completely numb. It seems that the time is here. Virgilius. Yes, I knew that this day would eventually come. The day is here. Why is everyone acting so serious all of a sudden? Rojian's observation is correct. While turning the clock does indeed turn the time, a certain degree of exacerbating fatigue cannot be alleviated. This necessitates that we employ a certain measure to verify the status of each sinner. What could it possibly be that it needs this much buildup? Listen to the heartbeat. In other words, it is time for Limbus Company's dramatic gulping noise. A regular checkup. Regular checkup? We did get a call from the higher ups a while ago requesting that we send the sinners in for a regular checkup. But it was repeatedly delayed due to several limiting circumstances on our end. They've been obnoxiously hounding us for quite some time. I was starting to get tired of explaining our absence. Checkup? What checkup? Don't be so on edge, Heathcliff. Such proceedings are regular occurrences at most corporations. I've never personally experienced it myself, but sounds like they're just checking to see how we're doing health-wise. I turned around, getting ready to say, right, Ishmael? Uh-oh. Why is she shocked? Only to come face to face with Ishmael's shocked expression frozen onto her face. Well, this is unexpected. I thought Ishmael, with her worldly experiences, would leap onto this opportunity to lecture us all about how things worked outside Limbus Company. Regular checkups are... Oh, you're gearing up to explain what it is. Coolio. You got 30 seconds to wrap it up. Ready, set, go. No. Not the regular checkup. Miss Ishmael's expression seems to suggest otherwise, Miss Rogia. I did hear that some fixer offices or associations employ varying methodologies when it comes to regular checkups, depending on their characteristics. Locked up until there's only one left standing. Locked? Blood of my colleagues. The only key to escape. What the hell is going on? What kind of checkup did she have to go through? Ishmael wasn't the only one responding with a pale-faced, abject horror at the suggestion. Do you even understand what kind of regular checkup you're getting into? I'm asking if you're prepared to go through the regular checkup, no matter what happens in the process. Are you prepared to endure through everything that... What's wrong with this bloke now? Mate's looking all pale. I don't understand why everyone's making such a big deal out of this. I don't think it's that bad. I think we used to have an annual health checkups back in school too. What kind of checkups? They'd put us all in the same room, measuring heights, weights, running some basic fitness tests. Prithee, wherefore do they seek the measures of such characteristics? Must you really ask? A full knowledge of analysis of Each soldier's status is indispensable. Intelligence for officers to have on hand. What soldiers? I was talking about my school. Right, so that don't explain shit about why you need to know that, does it? Why they'd find it necessary to spray people with those stinking chemicals just to see if someone's got lice in their clothes. They must have gone through this shit of rough checkups too as a kid. Oh man, yeah, those checkups sucked. I don't think they do it anymore in public schools. Before, when you were a kid, a nurse would come in. The nurse would come in and you'd hear a knock, right? And then the teacher would walk over to the door, open it up, boom. Here's the nurse wearing a mask and little, like those glasses that have like the magnifying glass on them, whatever. With her little kit. And then all of a sudden, here we go, lice checkups in the middle of class, and it was so terrible. It was probably the most high-stressed situation I've ever been in. Y'all keep asking questions with the most obvious answers. In fact, I've been wondering when they test us. Otis confidently marched up to the front of the other sinners with an assertive grin, as though she'd been waiting for this very moment. The true purpose of this checkup must be to elect a true authority among us. Amongst us? A true authority? By your parlance, true authority, could it be that you are questioning whom among us is our leader? But I'm standing right here. I humbly request that you avoid plaguing yourself with any unnecessary misunderstandings about my suggestion, Executive Manager. Of course, I must preface this with the declaration that there cannot be an iota of doubt toward Executive Manager Dante's authority. Okay. But was this not always a topic of great contention among us? That which of us is most fit to command this squad of sinners? Isn't it Ishmael or maybe Faust? That's what I thought too. This lack of cohesion is precisely why we always fail to face our enemies as a team. Always scrambling, always underprepared, always taken by surprise. You must always be ready to drop to the ground and give 500 push-ups whenever your superior commands you to do so. Always maintain the willingness to sacrifice your well-being and life for the sake of the glorious victory of your allies. It's all missing. Where's your readiness to self-sacrifice? No one's arguing with you, Otis. Who are you even talking to? So to summarize, the regular checkup entails putting us all in a small room and making us fight to the last sinner standing? Silence fell upon us as Honglu's succinct summary. Battle Royale! I've been looking forward to this. Oh shit. F it. I'll give you lot one hell of a fight. My fist used to be bloody infamous in the back streets. Fine. So that's how we're going to do this, huh? I'm ready to roll. Guys, this isn't... Okay, so where are we off to? The battle route... excuse me? The regular checkup takes place at... The sinners seem to be under some serious misunderstanding about what the regular checkup entailed, but Faust had obviously long given up on correcting them. The headquarters. The headquarters you speak of must be the headquarters of Limbus Company? Yes. Oh, we're finally getting to visit the headquarters, huh? A whole year after they hired us? Oh, a year. Okay, there we go. Question answered. Phenomenal. So it's been a year already. So this has to be a yearly thing then. We should be right on time upon immediate departure. Well, no, because Virgilius did say that they've been trying to get us in a lot sooner and not a whole year later, but this instant thou sayest, yet mine heart is faint prepared. Prithee, allow us some time to prepare our travel provisions. Where's the HQ anyway? Hopefully it's not too far from here. That is a secret. However, I would like to inform you that it exists in a location inaccessible via Mephistopheles. Oh, come on. How are we supposed to get there if you're not going to tell us where it is? Inaccessible via Mephistopheles. You're not about to suggest that we board the warp trains again, are you? Fie, I shan't ever board the warp trains again. Indeed, we will not be boarding a warp train for this journey. So are we taking the back doors or something? Yeah, good point. Let's take them doors instead. A sound suggestion. However, in lieu of sufficient information regarding each door, the destination may hold an element of randomness. Or, due to the variable nature of its activation period, the resultant destination may not reflect our intended end coordinates. Or, an unexpected closure mid-passage through the frame may behoove us to bid the company our last farewells and embark on an untimely journey of no return. Are you sure this is a sound suggestion? Then I'd rather take that bloody train instead. At least we won't remember what happened once it's over and done with. True. I mean, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. Battle Royale. I mean, in a Battle Royale, who would win though? Who would win out of all of the sinners? So, further research was necessary to ensure safe transportation to the intended destinations. Further research? Are you implying that you made modifications to the back door? A close assessment. However, it would be more accurate to say that the back door was merely used as a reference. How did you even make the time for research? Weren't you doing everything with us the whole time? LCA and Faust established multiple communications with a certain new wing aspirant company during the spare hours between our travels to garner multiple cooperation efforts regarding the stabilization of the back door. A new wing? Are they looking to take over L Corp's vacancy or something? Quite sharp, Gregor, but the direction of your intuition could be improved. It's a company seeking to seize the imminent vacancy of the ever-declining W Corp. Oh! So a new wing is coming in to swoop in and take over W Corp? Interesting. W Corp. Is that so? Yeah, that makes sense. Stories of W Corp's decline have been spreading more and more as of late, and I'm not surprised that some companies would consider this to be an opportunity. Newspapers also featured op-eds regarding a possible management crisis at W Corp, with many of them discussing the mysterious disappearances as well. I see. So they've been furtively planning and preparing to take over W Corp's position as a wing. But to supplant a wing before it falls on its own? Now that's certainly peculiar. Yeah, very interesting. I wonder what that is going to be like. Are they looking for maybe controlling the time? Doing something with the time, potentially? They must have something, a scheme perhaps in the works, and to ally with such ambitious parties is the headquarters looking to start a war of the wings? I, at this moment, am not privy to such details. Miss Otis, we needn't make predictions in such rashness. Recall that W Corp has been mired in troubles both internal and external, having fallen to such desperation as to seek the assistance of our company. Yeah? It is no wild presumption to predict that it shall crumble ere the advent of such violent pandemonium. For indeed, inefficiency is the bane of technology that brings ruination to those that fail to overcome it. Our research efforts, however, were quite efficient and successful. Our mechanisms are similar to that of the back door, but it eliminates the corridor, instead establishing a direct connection from one door to another. A portal, if you will. Oh, so you resolved all the aforementioned side effects then? Not quite. Similar difficulties to the aforementioned cases were observed. Sometimes the accuracy of the target destination coordinates were lacking, or in other cases, the activation period would be cut short, causing the door to shut prematurely and amputate the subjects as they were traversing between doors. There has been much progress in the stabilization efforts, however, minimizing pentasection incidents. Most recent incidents have been limited to bisections. Bisection certainly is an improvement over pentasection. I mean, look at on the bright side, you saw. I love it. I love it. They both sound equally awful to me. Yeah, they do, because they are. Sob, I would not behold mine own left and right shoes so cruelly sundered, forced to be so far apart upon our coming to the headquarters. Well, well. All this idle chatter for unnecessary concerns tells me that your bus life may have been too uneventful lately. Looks like the research arrived while you were wasting time. I saw a large and unfamiliar vehicle through the window. Is that the vehicle? It's got no windows though. How tiresome. Now, off the bus. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. You know what this does kind of remind me of though? Lobotomy Corp, like containment units. I mean, it might be, but it looks like a Lobotomy Corp containment unit. Once we disembarked the bus, we made our way into this unfamiliar vehicle of sorts. Its interior was mostly metallic, filled to the brim with convoluted-looking machines, and on the opposite end of the entrance, a massive door loomed over us. What is this? This is assistance from P Corp, and the process of developing this device was indispensable. Wait, that means this definitely gives almost like submarine vibes. In cohorts with young Cicera, are you? Hoy day! Much did I aspire to regale her with a tale of the contract's glorious completion of mine heroism and bravery. 'Tis quite unfair of thee to meet her all by thy lonesome, young Faust. Your concerns will be taken into account next time. Bao seemed relieved. Ah, worry thee not, for thou hast availed us the sight of Limbus Company headquarters. Thy tit hath been tatted for. There are numerous reasons for which you were yet to be allowed into the headquarters, but as it would be a fruitless effort to explicate them all, we will not cover that subject here. Phew, glad to hear we're not sitting through another lecture. The primary reason is, however, that there were several limitations to bringing the members of our department to the headquarters, brought upon by frequent transnest movements and irregular scheduling of our missions. Why'd you say all that if you were going to explain it anyway? Wait, more importantly, what's that about collaborating with P Corp? Boy, here we go again. P Corp's singularity can be summarized by the following four words: expansive space warping technology. Oh, right. Didn't you say that Miss Cicera told you something about how the principle of P Corp's singularity is a lot like how La Mancha works? Right. La Mancha was much larger on the inside than it looked from the outside. Oh, so wait. Are we inside of something like that then? Oh yeah, I've been meaning to ask. Don't other wings already make liberal use of different kinds of space expanding singularities? It's how I should put this. Isn't it a bit mundane of a city tech for P Corp to call space manipulation its unique thing? That was quite the intelligent question. Compliments! How nice. Ishmael is correct in suggesting that technology to expand a given space is a commonly employed technology by other wings as well. An example of one such invention making use of this space expansion technology, but isn't a P Corp singularity, would be Mephistopheles. The ultimate purpose of P Corp's space expansion technology is to create the safest place in the world. Oh! A perfectly protected construct, its interior sheltered from the world outside no matter how severely its exterior is battered. To have a sound structural integrity no matter what, its interior safe from any and all harm. So essentially this is like a fallout shelter. Therefore, the more expansive the P Corp product is, the safer its interior is from damaging outside conditions such as extreme pressure or shock. Perhaps the way in which the interior is completely insulated from the outside is comparable to a full disconnect from the outside world by sheltering in a separate dimension. In conclusion, the exterior of this vehicle utilized P-Corp singularity, which means that it can protect its interior from all forms of impact, not to mention that it has enough room to hold more than 13 people inside. Don't dimensional trunks or containers also transport things to other dimensions? Sync, why are you freezing up all of a sudden? There was this creepy story that used to circulate among kids back when I was in school. Here's how it goes. So a DayVat Association employee makes a delivery to a house, then looks away for a second. And a curious kid crawls into their courier trunk and... I'm gonna stop the story here. Look, that story kept me up at night for a whole week, okay? I couldn't stop having nightmares about that scenario where... Hey, come on, sometimes the story's just a story. Not necessarily. Unfortunately, the story that inspired Sinclair's week-long nightmares was most likely an accurate retelling of a true story. Several regulations were added to the HANA and DayVat Association's rules to prevent cases of people being stored in dimensional containers. From a certain perspective, it may be said that the warp technology employed by W Corp shares a degree of similitude. Exactly what I was thinking too. The warp train being in the same realm of all of this. The parallel lies in the fact that it also transports human to a different dimension, the difference being that they are packaged in a safer manner. Therefore, perhaps enough of a connection exists to say that they operate on the same scale. Anywho, the point is that we'll always have access to the headquarters as long as we have this vehicle thing, right? This will certainly make the logistics of communication and supply much more convenient. One question, however, how does the company plan to move this instrument, as I expect that would be much trouble on its own? Has that detail been hashed out yet? No. In order to establish a more tangible level of communication with Limbus Company headquarters, an effective means of transportation such as this vehicle will be installed in the nests across the city. In summary, an efficient means of transportation such as this vehicle here, developed using P-Corp and the aspirant W Corp's technology, will gradually be installed at various points across the city. Ooh, okay, so there's gonna be like little portals to Limbus Company. In every nest? Of course not. The technology is still experimental. It is astronomically expensive to install and operate. Virgilius gave us a firm clarification. Activating now. Faust tinkers with various machines and contraptions within the vehicle, and the giant door from earlier began to tremble, making a loud noise. Wherefore is that gate over yonder shuddering so? Energy is now linked and routing toward that gate. When the gauge displays around the glowing door filled, the door began to slowly open. Entering now. When it fully opened, Faust made her way inside like it was just another door. Well, let's follow her inside. There was a bizarre and incomprehensible noise of machines coupled with a low droning noise. Yes, we have arrived. Welcome to the Limbus Company headquarters. This place is teeming with people dressed in all sorts of odd outfits walking briskly between their busy schedules. I hear heavy doors opening and closing from here and there, alongside the odd sensation I've been feeling from time to time. The Golden Bows, right? Are we talking about the Golden Bow? Is the floor of the LCE department. LCE? Hopefully we get to probably stride in through the HQ's front gate one day. Oh, so we are at headquarters. Oh my gosh. So we are going to see inside of the headquarters and, you know, maybe get a little glimpse as to what the hell we are doing with these Golden Bows. Because we really have no idea. Oh Oh, there he is. Oh, this was the guy. This was the guy, the research team lab unit. I mean, he looks interesting. What is going on? Why are we so quiet? Stop. Right, are we waiting for something to happen, or are we all of a sudden unfamiliar with the concept of introducing ourselves? Given that no one appears to be willing to introduce me, allow me the liberty of self-introduction. My name is Hohenheim, the chief researcher of this company. To be precise, he is the chief researcher of the LCE department. To be more precise, I am the chief researcher responsible for the entirety of Limbus Company. To be even more precise, the only reason he retains that role is because Isong and I have been excluded from the research personnel files due to our statuses as sinners. Okay, we're in a pissing contest between Faust and Hohenheim. Someone must stay behind to continue the research, after all. So if Faust and Isong weren't with us, they would take his job. Aha, so you two are friends? Well, it seems entirely unnecessary to establish a label on this relationship. It could be said that we are acquaintances who routinely and unwillingly maintain a regular level of communication with one another. I'm in agreement for the first time since we were acquainted. Oh, are we gonna get a little enemies to lovers action? I hear that our department has reached out several times to yours to remind you of this regular checkup. The nature of the LCB department necessitates that we are constantly on the move from one nest to another, which makes it rather difficult for us to give you an immediate reply. I would have expected someone like you to already be well aware of this obvious detail. Yes, I was very well aware. I am also quite aware of the fact that your department has been giving us that same reply over and over again like an answering machine. And this must be Dante, the executive manager of Limbus Company Sinners. I'd like to say, hi, nice to meet you, but I don't suppose he can hear what I'm saying. The manager extends their greetings. Charmed. It is grueling and arduous work to be in a position of leadership, especially when communication issues come into play. Sometimes I cannot help but wonder if my researchers and I are even speaking the same language, so I do commiserate. Yo, look at that. Hey, this is the Ishmael. And who was this Isong's ID? How odd their clothes are. Ah, yes, allow me to introduce you all to Martin and Alyssa, two of the few researchers directly in my command. Are they wearing gear extracted from abnormalities? But how? Happy to have someone who recognizes them. Are they like gears scavenged from the former L Corp? While there are partial similarities to their gears, enough differences are present to distinguish them. Indeed, we attempted our own brand of extractions, successfully I might add. While the news of the production of Ego gear in Limbus Company's style was already received, this is the very first time they are observed in person. So you must have abnormalities contained in this facility? So that's why I've been sensing abnormalities in here, huh? Oh, it's the abnormalities. Okay, I'm getting that little spidey sense, I get it. But I'm sensing distortions and peccatula too. Indeed, as they are containment and research subjects for the LCE department as well. Faust closely observed the ego gear Hohenheim was wearing like an exceptionally harsh judge in a fashion contest. Apart from a few imperfections in this finish, the level of ego extraction visible here is quite acceptable. Input appreciated. This is a product of thousands of repeated experiments and subsequent failures that have been meticulously conducted and studied in order to extract it with an acceptable level of stability. But at the end of the day, I did it, like I always do. You did it. Are you sure you want to take all the credit when your team is standing right behind you? We're used to it. Oh, piss off. I'm going mad surrounded by these self-absorbed twats. I'm just about ready to get violent on some poor bastard. Let's get on with the checkup so we can get back to the bus, yeah? I feel the very same urgency you express. There is much we must cover, regrettably, given that this is the first ever regular checkup performed as a group since your employment. Faust also does not wish to pass more time without substance. Let us begin. Very well. Our first task shall be to assess your abilities in response to emergency situations. Wait, he just pressed something. Emergency situations? The walls of the laboratory suddenly started separating and sliding into place. When it settled, I realized that it had locked the sinners away in some kind of hold, isolating them from me. Virgilius and Karen. What the hell? This is just an ambush. Yes, it is. The purpose of this test is to measure your behaviors and response in case of a surprise attack. So, ambush it is. Was this discussed beforehand, Virgilius? You look anxious, Dante. Well, I suppose you weren't let in on this either. I wasn't, for your information. Just go with their flow, Dante. So it goes, would be an apt response. I'll find a room somewhere where Karen and I might sit down and enjoy some nice tea. Come find me with Faust once this is over. Karen wants cake too. Oh, hey, we've got some leftover cake from our last office party. Come this way, please. An employee appeared and led Virgilius and Karen away into a nearby office room. Okay, so this is the regular checkup, huh? Let's get this done. Oh my gosh, these really are containment units. Oh my. I wonder, you know, there's no way the purpose of this evaluation is to measure your combat capacity in case a manager dies. We don't have any. But I wonder what the rest of this checkup is going to look like. There's no way that it can only be battles, right? Right? But this is gonna be easy. I mean, come on. These are like little baby Pekatula, but I hope you are enjoying today's video. If you enjoy what you have seen and you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I would definitely appreciate it. I have been really enjoying playing Limbus Company. I mean, it's my favorite game right now. It is so good. So good. But I've been playing a lot of Limbus Company. Just got into Mormons, which is a great game. I'm loving both of these games and will continue to cover them. So let's go, baby. All right. So let's do this regular checkup, take out this Pekatulum, and see what the rest of this checkup is going to look like. It looks like we're actually about to just wipe these guys clean. We went through various tests, including commandability trials using Pekatula in Vide. Hark, Manager Esquire, hi-ho! I have attained a score most perfect. To be surpassed by Miss Don Quixote in a contest of knowledge, must I delve further in my studies? Hey, Songbud, they were testing our Fixer Association knowledge, huh? Totally. Honestly, she's got more than enough fixation for the entire bus. All kinds of general knowledge, trivia quizzes. What's the first thing you focus on when meeting a new person? The look in their eyes. How strong they look? Bloody hell, this ain't easy. Your leadership style is strong, decisive, and goal-oriented. You are, Marcel? We were finally allowed a quick break after going through all kinds of mysterious, strange personality tests as well. Next, basic fitness test for all sinners. We can finally get started on the real meat of this checkup. Fitness tests? This is gonna be hilarious to see Gregor, his heavy breathing, his inability to breathe when doing any sort of cardio. Wait, then what were all those tests you guys were running on us? They were conducted in order to collect various data that the LCE department has been missing. In other words, we capitalized on this opportunity to fulfill our private curiosities. Still, I'd say it was very productive. We now know a lot about you guys. That'll help us support the LCB going forward. All right, we are going to go over some tests that can be conducted in groups first. Please form a line here. Here it is. Oh my God. What, like this? Let's get this over with. Looks like we've got a long day ahead of us. Wow, these are some comfy clothes they've given us. I know, those hoodies are nice. I would love to get me a hoodie, right? I could totally see myself wearing these to sleep. Exactly. To sleep? They're LCE properties, so you better return them as soon as we're done here. Gotcha. By the way, can you take a look at my wrist here before we actually get started? I've been feeling a bit of soreness there, but Dante won't turn the clock for just me, you know? Turning the clock for such trivialities may cause the formation of an unfavorable habit. Perhaps mere salt can remedy your pain. I am always prepared to administer necessary aid should you request it. Actually, you know what? I'm totally fine now. Don't you worry. Please stand still. If you think I can't see some of you on your tiptoes, you'd be very wrong. Heels on the ground, please. But my heels are on the ground. Bye. And can you snuff out your cigarette before the test begins? Oh, this one isn't lit. It's just there so I can look cool. Aha. And what about bold but scram? Okay, so the basic group tests are complete. I seem to have forgotten something quite important I had to establish prior to beginning the tests in earnest. I need an assistant. An assistant? I need an assistant to help me smooth out the testing procedures. You got two of them already right behind you if you need directions. Oh, we're not Mr. Hohenheim's assistants. We're specifically assistant researchers. Yes, of course. There is much that distinguishes these two occupations. I would like for one of you to be my assistant for the duration of this checkup. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to be an assistant. This is a test. I feel like this is a test. Rogia suddenly raised her hand. I wasn't planning on asking for volunteers, but now that you've raised your hand, I'll give you the floor. Don't ask me to do it. It's just not my vibes, you know? I'll take a researcher job, though. I'm a big fan of her style. Rogia trailed off, greedily caressing the clothes of one of the researchers. What are you doing? I didn't really have you in mind anyway, but duly noted nonetheless. I would also like to refuse your nomination. The position of an assistant to Hohenheim implies that the said assistant is, when it comes to skill, inferior to the person they are assisting. Again, I didn't have you in mind either, but your passionate expression of intent is nonetheless appreciated. I wonder who came up with this brilliant idea of putting two smart asses together to waste time pointing out each other's minor mistakes. If I were to talk about myself, I want to open by saying that I was a class vice president in school, a diligent model student who assiduously facilitated the tasks of the class president in... What's wrong with everyone getting so anxious to get picked here? Do you fellas actually want to be his assistant? Getting in the front and center of things is just bothersome, you know? I kind of felt like I had to apply for the position for some reason. While the decision has already been made, do note that the selection criteria is fully based on my very subjective opinion. You there, orange-haired sinner. Ishmael, oh my God. Ishmael almost threw me to the ground as she confidently strode up to the front of the line. Oof! Greetings, Mr. Hohenheim. As you must be aware, if you've taken a look at my documents, I've rarely let anyone down during my various tenures at office and associations. You'll have nothing to worry as long as I'm by your side. Also, can I add this experience to my resume if I ever get a chance to submit a transfer request to work at the headquarters? Didn't know you were still holding on to that hope. I called on you to ask you to move because you were standing in front of the center I chose. Oh no, poor Ishmael. Everyone turned around to look at Heathcliff, who was absent-mindedly scratching at the bridge of his nose. Why would he choose Heathcliff as his assistant? Huh? Me? Me? It seemed that Ishmael was even more shocked that Heathcliff was. As more shocked. Wait, but what? But why? I'm right here. Why would you pick someone like... It is a common misconception among many researchers to assume that the higher their level of education and the more elaborate their resume, the better candidate one makes for a research project participant, but it's exactly the opposite. Oh, poor Heathcliff! But that's just common sense, isn't it? At least when it comes to research. However, were you aware that most great discoveries are made from a potent mix of spontaneity and intuition? A perfect descriptor for our friend here, I would say. What say you, Heathcliff? I believe that this aggressive and passionate approach of yours gives you more than sufficient qualification to command and lead them in my stead. Is that right? He replied, scratching his head. Be honest now, Isong. You were kind of looking forward to getting picked, weren't you? Poor Isong. It is but fate that things that were once good in the eyes of the mainstream are to be made less desirable with the passage of time. And when one does indeed fall out of favor, the intelligentsia of the bygone days must rightly excuse themselves to the realm of memories and past. Isong replied with a particularly downcast look. I'm glad to have you on board as my new assistant. Righty-ho, so, what have I got to do now? Nothing too complicated. You only need to liberally express your free spirit, just as you are now. Aha, now I see what he is doing. Hohenheim sure knows which one of the group to coax to make things go over smoothly. Martin whispered quietly at me in a voice that only I could hear. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that Heathcliff is his assistant, but there is something to it, obviously. It's not just he thinks, oh, Heathcliff is he is going to make an amazing assistant. There is something behind his choice, but what that is, I have no idea. Dang, look at Heathcliff looking good in that hoodie. Heathcliff seemed eager to, as Hohenheim had suggested, express his free spirit to the best of his capabilities. Right, you there, get in line, single file, lads. Let's make this easy for all of us. Oh no, oh no. Heathcliff is he's gonna be one of those people, you know, I'm sure some of you have experienced this in a workplace where somebody gets a manager title, then all of a sudden they're just hot shit. And then they think they're so awesome because of that badge that they wear on their chest. And under their name says manager. Oh no, Heathcliff, don't be like that. But aren't you also participating in the test with the rest of us, Heathcliff? Yeah, but I'm the assistant. And to stress as well, he's not even a manager. He's an assistant. This is amazing. I love this so much. I gotta say, this is exactly what I was hoping for when it came to this Intervallo. Glasses are basic apparatuses of all researchers. Look, slightly pushing up on the glasses helps to put on the air of studious, learned individual, like so. Just like I was slightly pushing up the frames of my glasses while wondering what to have for lunch. Lunch makes it seem as though I am contemplating on the more profound aspects of life. Oi, let's not make this any harder than it's gotta be, lass. Snuff out that cig in your mouth. Oh no, he wants to die. Been a while since I heard a pig squeal. Blimey, can't you just do as I say for once? Huh, he's actually pretty effective. It seems that we are now ready to conduct the tests, finally. The primary purpose of this test is to see on a physical level how your current abilities scale compared to yourselves before your hiring. Oh, okay. I see. So they're trying to see how much they've progressed since before they joined the company? I had a feeling this would happen, but the mere mention of the words progression caused a rather loud ruckus amongst the sinners. If I were to speak for myself, Executive Manager, I can confidently say that the thought of progressing as a person and in all aspects of life is ingrained into my very being. Thus, as a fruit of those efforts, I have grown to be much more precise and scathing in my critique of others' mistakes. Is that progress, though? The music. Oh no! Why are they playing this song? Perhaps I have learned to let certain thoughts rest in favor of others. I once allowed myself to be trapped in overlong ruminations on worries of all manners, idly abiding as I was consumed by my very thoughts. Now, I have come to accept certain things as they are. Oh, and I've come to sometimes allow my mind to form bereft of rigorous reason, floating away gently as though on a rolling stream. Is that not quite pleasant? Okay. I guess that is progression of sorts. I'm pretty sure I'm less of a picky eater than I used to be. My grip strength is much stronger too. Oh, look. I think I'm getting calluses on my palms. It's genetics. Oh my God, I will never forget that line. Well, you don't really have to try to prove it to us, because the enemies we're fighting have been getting stronger too. That's an undeniable truth. We did experience a pretty spectacular year, you know? A brutal year, yet so potent with significance. True. I guess growth really does come with time, huh? Right? I feel like the bonds between us got a lot deeper. We've all grown closer, you know? Like glue. I definitely agree with that one, for sure. I mean, you could sense it. There have been really significant moments where you could see the sinners really caring for each other. I love those moments, by the way. I think they are some of the best moments in the story, especially when it comes to character development. Like glue, huh? I like it. A certain misunderstanding seems to be brewing in tandem with this uplifting exchange of heart-to-hearts. Allow me to step in and nip it in the bud. Let me give it to you straight. All of your abilities were diminished the moment you were hired by this company. Equally defanged and depowered, if you will. Equally defanged? In other words, all of your abilities have been brought down to the, to the same general level as our 11th sinner here. Why am I your point of reference? If this is what you meant earlier by growing closer like glue, then I suppose it was quite the apt choice of words. So they all got a debuff to Sinclair's level. Hey, take that back. I take it back. Not. So you're not really that much stronger than I am, huh? Wow, Sync, is that the sound of your sense of self-preservation shattering into the ether? That's a you bloody excuse me. I need to know why that happened. Did we all get depowered because of the golden bow? Wait, does this have anything to do with those chains that appeared when we first entered into the contract with Dante? Indeed, one of the powers of a golden bow is connection. You are now all fairly evenly and equally mediocre. Oh my gosh. Wait, if we are all mediocre, then how the hell have we been defeating some of the people that we have been defeating? Hohenheim's comment and the subsequent stare seemed a bit targeted. Think of it as something akin to cliff-off deterrence employed by the Lobotomy Corporation. So, the truth is finally revealed. This is why I, Otis, grew so pathetically weak the moment I joined this company. Art thou implying that thou hast always known? Wait! But Don Quixote is insane, while Sancho is insanely powerful. Of course, had I been in my prime, I could have wiped the floor with you miserable doormats in a matter of seconds. You wipe the floors with doormats? Man, we're all so prone to saying whatever once the burden of proof is gone, huh? Huh. So that's why my murderous arms have been quiet ever since they hired me. It didn't really have anything to do with my heart after all. Gregor? Oi, what's the use of all this chatter? What matters is that we've all been brought down to the level of the lad. But I got calluses on my palms. Yes. Sinclair and his freaking hands. Yeah, not all of the Golden Bow's effects must have been of detriment to us. The song started, carefully attempting to navigate through a conversation that appeared to be turning into a tinderbox. Was it not the advantages granted to us by the Golden Bow impaled in the pallid whale of the Great Lake by which we triumphed? What? Really? Correct. Had the pallid whale been at its full strength, it is highly likely that we may still have been trapped inside its stomach, struggling to survive. Also, it can also be said that the diminishing effect was not applied in equal measure across all affected subjects. That makes sense, I guess. I never could have knocked Heath out with one punch if I was only as strong as Sink. It's a real handy trick, you know? Additionally, certain individual quirks cannot be suppressed by the Golden Bow. Certain quirks that one may consider to be an individual's idiosyncrasies. Oh, so that explains Ryoshi's impressive blade work with Mr. Bumble back at the T-Corp factory. Won't waste my breath boasting. You never do anyway. Well, if your strengths have indeed progressed since the onboarding, then the average must have risen as well. One of the purposes of these tests is to measure that very difference. So what exactly goes into these tests? I know there's a district that uses a machine that can analyze most aspects of the subject with a quick scan. So is it going to be something like that? There are dozens, if not hundreds of ways to determine one's abilities without the assistance of machinery. In fact, I know of a perfectly appropriate methodology for this group. Yeah, toss them into battle. A perfectly appropriate methodology? We spent some time out of our busy schedules to tailor each test for each center of the LCB. That was pretty tough, I'll have you guys know. Tailored tests for each centers, huh? I don't really like the sound of that, if you ask me. We will utilize the Pecatula and the distortion phenomenon. Huh, that doesn't sound much like some super innovative method you were building up to. What a letdown. Right? Honestly, for all their talk, I thought they'd come up with something more impressive than that. Assistant? All right, that's enough chatter. Now get in there. But this is where we are going to end today's video. What a great start to this Intervallo. Oh my gosh. Honestly, this is exactly what I was hoping for when it came to this Intervallo. It is so dang funny. We are 5 out of 14. So we do have a little bit left. Maybe this is going to be like a 3-video Intervallo. But so far, I am really enjoying this checkup. I think it is hilarious, and it's exactly what I was hoping for. I'm really enjoying it so far. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!